and the evaluation portion of our meeting. So hello everyone again, I am Diego. I am the president of our Toastmasters group here, and I'm serving as the Toastmaster role for tonight. We like to go over all the different evaluation roles involved in our general meetings before we get started with our prepared speeches. So Ben, will you please share with us what is the role of the timer tonight?
Certainly. Evening, everybody. I'll be the timer for tonight. I'll turn the light green, yellow, and then red, depending on what portion of the meeting we're at. So for the first portion with the speeches, I'll turn the light green for 5 minutes, yellow for 6, and then red for 7. For table topics, it'll be green for 1 minute, yellow for 1 minute and 30 seconds, and red for 2 minutes. And then for the final portion of the meeting, for the evaluation portion, I'll be turning the light green for 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds for yellow, and then 3 minutes for red.
Thanks, Ben. Olivia, can you tell us about the general evaluator roles and responsibilities
Good
tonight?
evening, Toastmasters and guests. My role this evening is General Evaluator, and that role consists of simply going over a quick overview of how the meeting went, how did we start, what time we started, and how the meeting progressed. I will give my feedback on the speeches or what have you, just close to the end of the meeting. I'll just give a general overview.
Great. Thanks, Olivia. Cheyenne, can you please tell us about the odd counter and grammarian dual roles tonight for us?
Yes, so as the all counter, I will be listening for filler words, but you know, things of that nature. And I will give you a report at the end so you know what your crutch is and you can work on that. I will also be the grammarian, so I'll be looking for abuses of the English language. And I will give you a report of that as well. And I will be looking for the word of the day, which I'm making my little poster. The word of the day is caboodle. Caboodle. So the definition is all of the things of a group. So the definition, the use in a sentence, he decided to sell the whole caboodle. And other side, I put it's a little bit bigger, and the definition is on that flip side. So.
Great.
That is all. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheyenne. Last but not least, Kyler, please tell us about the table topics portion of our meeting tonight.
Good evening, my name is Kyler and I will be your table topics master for the evening. I will be asking short 1 to 2 minute questions that you will answer on your feet, and it will give you a chance to sort of think about how you would handle a conversation in an elevator or on the way to work or with someone who's new or at a party, and it helps you think about important things and answer those without being nervous.
Great. Thanks, Kyler. All right, without any further ado, we're going to get started with our prepared speeches portion of our meeting tonight. We have Carrie, Numa, and Maurice doing their speeches tonight, and we will begin first with Carrie Numa's prepared speech coming from the Effective Coaching Pathways with a focus on understanding your leadership style. Let us please give a warm round of applause as we hear Carrie's speech and message tonight from
Good evening, Toastmaster members. Do we have guests tonight?
not tonight.
Communication is my passion. That was my college major. I have studied it for so many years. Tonight, I'm happy to share my communication style called effective communication. I named it. Effective communication consists of 3 aspects: positivity, active listening, and reactionism. You may know about positivity and active listening, but not exactly about reactionism because I made up the term. What is reactionism? Reactionism is not just how to react to your speaker. More specifically, it is to show a speaker your expressive reaction with the full of emotion. That's what a speaker looks for, expects, and wants. Your reaction is a gift and a return. There are 3 techniques of reactionism. First of all, facial expressions, including eye contact. Your face gives the first impression and expression to a speaker. Your face talks. We have 43 muscles in the face. Unfortunately, we use only certain parts of the faces or muscles on an everyday basis. But that means we can be more expressive in the face. In reactionism, when laughing, your face is not, but when being sorry, your face is not, but when excited, your face is not, but use your facial muscles. Practice at the mirror. Second, body language, gesture. Keep your hands above your waistline. The higher you raise your hand, the more excited you look. Open and close your hands and keep your palms up as much as possible because you look open to your speaker. In reactionism, are you ready? When laughing, your hands are not, but when being sorry, your hands are not, but when excited, your hands are not, but moves your hands. The last is verbal reactions, words out of your mouth. There are some techniques for verbal communication, such as paraphrasing, summarizing, and repeating what the speaker says. In reactionism, we focus on enunciation. Volume, slow speed, and a tone of your voice. Also, use short, easy, and impactful phrases and words. For example, are you ready? Not oh, but oh. Not wow, but wow. Not that's great, but that's great. Not I love it, but I love it. Next time you speak to your friends, use the 3 techniques of reactionism: facial expressions, gestures, and verbal reactions. These are very useful when you talk with the caboodle of your friends. You will see how happy they are when they're talking to you. Both you and your friends will feel content. Eventually, people will want to go talk to you. Someday, look around you. you'll be in the center of a circle or group of friends. That's reactionism. Back to Toastmaster.
Carrie, thank you so much for really demonstrating the caboodle elements in building a great speech. And I really think that this is a really great example of a prepared speech, showing all the important characteristics of what we see in many great prepared speeches in speech masters. So keep up the great work. And I'm especially impressed at how you incorporated a lot of vocal variety in that speech in particular, because I know that's a big weakness of mine that I'm continually trying to address. So I'm really glad that we have a clip forever for everyone to see for a great example of vocal variety. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for putting in the work for building that speech. Okay, folks, not to be outdone, we have our second speech from a veteran Toastmaster, Maurice Heidelberg, who is doing a particular speech from the Entertaining Speaker Pathways program on the topic of Make Them Laugh. And the title of his speech is Memorable Childhood Gaffes Faux Pas. So let's see how much humor he can incorporate into this speech, and let's give him a warm round of applause as he comes up to it.
Fellow Toastmasters and fellow Toastmasters, tonight I'm presenting a speech that talks about gaffes and faux pas, and you all have heard, especially recently during the presidential campaign season, of gaffes and faux pas. You can pick any of your choice that's memorable to you. But my speech tonight is focusing on some of my childhood faux pas or gaffes during school or out of school. It doesn't cover the whole kit and caboodle of gaffes, and these are more relatively clean, but still got me in trouble, gaffes. I'm going to start off with, you remember the childhood cartoons, whatever era you grew up in, and you would bring some of that to school with you, some of what you heard, not just cartoons, but from a show or maybe a sitcom that you watched. But I'm one of those people, well, at least on those occasions, that I had to say that phrase one time too many. And one of them was from Gomer Pyle. One of his phrases is, surprise, surprise, surprise. And during school, different people said it, surprise, surprise, surprise. And then, it was funny, when it's first done, but then it gets old. And then with me, I said it one time too many. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And then the teacher in front of the whole class tells me, how would you like to stay after school for detention? Surprise, surprise, surprise. Another occasion was from a cartoon. It was either Looney Tunes or whoever produced Droopy. I forgot which one it was. I forgot what it was about, but I remember it was a character in that cartoon who got a booby trap or something, or it was like a hot potato, and he got excited when he got a hold of it, and he said, I got it, I got it. Then it blew up. Well, anyway, during one class, I don't know whether or not I got a test back and got a high grade or whatever happened, but I said, I got it, I got it. And the teacher said, who said that? And then I confessed. I either confessed it was me or someone else pointed at me. It was one of the two. But that was not a good occasion. I don't know if I got detention for it, but he was not very happy with that. Another occasion in school was during the Iranian hostage crisis when the Iranian took over the U.S. Embassy. And I think the teacher brought up the topic about it, and he mentioned Iran, and one of the other students said, "Where did he run to?" And he said, "What?" And then I decided to explain for him. He said, where did he run to? Iran. And then you're staying for detention. So that was another gaffe, childhood gaffe or faux pas. And another memorable faux pas for me was when one of my teachers had to leave for an appointment. And I think I kind of remember why, but as she was leaving, I had the audacity to ask, what are you going for? And then she proceeded to give me a lecture. Why should I tell you about this and that? And I cringed. Well, I shouldn't have said that. So that's another gaffe that I made. Let's see what other. Okay, a couple more gaffes during school, and it's not so much looked down upon these days, but back then, you don't contradict the teacher. And when I was in the first grade, with my homeroom teacher, after you completed your work, she said you can do activities. So that's the word I learned, doing extra stuff after you do your work. But the other teacher I went to, she used the word privilege. So she says, you can have your privileges after you complete your work. I said, no, they're activities. No, they're privileges. So that is some of the gaffes I've made in school. Oh, one more. One more gaffe. One was in school and another was outside of school. I'll do the one outside of school first. We were playing outside, we're playing ball or whatever, and I think one of the kids I played with, he was late for dinner or something. And he went home and we followed him, and his father came up to him and said, "Would you like to get a whooping?" I said, "Yes." And he grabbed him and he pulled him in the house. And then later on he got back at me, for doing that. But at school, a similar thing happened when someone was acting up. Not me, but someone else was acting up. And the teacher asked, "Would you like to stay after school for detention?" And I said, "Yes." And I ended up being on detention because I was trying to answer for that person, but I ended up on detention. So the moral of the story is, even though I was a kid, you have to try to behave yourself and not get yourself in trouble with gaffes and faux pas. Mr. Toastmaster.
Maurice, thank you for sharing with us all those childhood gaffes that you experienced, and I'm glad I'm not the only troublemaker in this room.
Yeah.
I remember I gave my elementary school and middle school teachers and high school teachers a hard time. I still give some of my college teachers a hard time still too, though. So.
Yeah.
But I do my best not to get on their bad side. So, thank you for sharing those good stories. A lot of great humor in there. You're getting much better at that. That's good to see. All right, folks. The laughs aren't over just yet. We're going to move into the table topics portion of our meeting, and I'm sure Kyler has plenty of great table topics that I'm sure we're all going to have many laughs about as we try to do our best to answer them. So let's please give a warm round of applause to Kyler as he tells us about the table topics for today.
fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I have a caboodle of questions to ask. So I'm actually going to start by requesting for a volunteer. Does anyone want to volunteer for Diego? Okay, let's see. When was the last time you lost your temper and why?
Oh, God.
He doesn't lose his temper. Calm, cool, and collected. Should have asked me that.
Kyler asked me a fascinating question of when is the last time I had a temper and how did I address it? Is that
Why?
why? Okay.
When did you lose it? Lose it.
I can't remember the last time I had a temper, and I think that is actually a problem because and I think that's a problem because I know when I get really upset with something, I feel like I become more passive aggressive with the person that I'm upset with rather than actually being honest with them and telling them that I'm upset about something that you did. And I think that's an immature response to do. I think it's important if you're upset with someone, you should try and remediate the situation and communicate to them that you're really upset about something that they did. I think it's completely immature for moments where I've been passive aggressive with someone that I'm upset with. Because I think as adults it's important for us to be honest with both ourselves and with the people that we're working with. So the last time I got passive aggressive, to change topics for a moment, was I feel with a student when I did AmeriCorps with an organization I was a part of 2 years ago. And I think it got to the point for my coworker that she actually complained to administration about explaining, I don't think Diego's respecting, what I bring to the table or what work that I'm doing. And that was a really eye-opening experience for me to realize that I need to do a better job of managing conflict with people that I'm working with. This is a long-winded response to say that I haven't had a temper. I can't remember being upset at someone in a long time, but the last time I was upset with someone, I think I handled it in a very immature way. I hope that is an adequate response to that question. So I'm going to return the lectern back to Kyla. Thank you so much.
It took me a long time to learn. I'm glad you brought it up that when you're upset about something or someone, it's much better to say it and to be direct. Because being of a similar temperament, if I was upset about something, I would just keep it to myself and it would kind of come out in other ways. But if you just, as you said, if you would just flat out, say what it is, you can kind of work through it much faster. The last time I lost my temper, however, I was trying to listen to music in the car and I was already stressed out. And I was, is anyone in like a group text message? Has anyone ever dealt with that before?
Oh, God, yeah.
So every time it would ping, it would cut off the song I'm trying to listen to. And it was like the straw that broke the camel's back because I couldn't fix it because I couldn't cut it off because I was driving. And I was so angry. So once I calmed down and once I got home, I immediately just turned off all notifications forever.
You got mad in the car?
Oh yeah, I was in the car. I mean, I was still a good driver, but I was very upset. Because I just wanted to listen to my music. I could.
Don't get mad in the car, man.
Yeah, no, not in the car.
It's
But
really falling down.
yeah, and I kept
was a good
it calm enough. Yeah. Anyway,
Real man.
do we have another volunteer? Chan? All right. Let's see.
That's for the temper one.
Okay,
No,
I
I'm
can't.
kidding, no.
You want? All
No,
right.
okay, no.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see. I have to find my spot. What or who has been distracting to you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I have been asked what or who has been distracting to you. And I will answer this question shamefully, but honestly. I've just started a new job recently where I work at a desk all day, and I am not completely fond of it. So I'm supposed to be in one specific program, making graphics, churning out projects and business plans, and I find myself straying to YouTube, and I manage my company's Facebook, gonna cover my company's name so y'all not telling me. But I find myself distracted by other things on Facebook because I think to myself, well, if they see Facebook in my search history, like, I'm supposed to be on Facebook. So I kind of justify myself that way. I also find that my phone is distracting to me because I found just the right angle where I can put it where you can't see it if you walk in my room. So it is only because I have a short attention span, and when I'm supposed to sit and do the same thing all day, it is very difficult for me to stay focused on just computer work all day long. So I like things to change. I like to do different tasks and be able to get up and walk around. And right now, until my position grows a little bit, I am unable to do those things. So I find myself distracted trying to pass the time of a long, drawn-out day of computer work. Thank you.
I appreciate your honesty in answering that question. I feel like most of the time, especially if you have an office job, there's a lot of distraction that goes on. And some of it is you pretend you're not distracted because of the office environment. Whereas it would be much better if people could just get out and go for a walk, come back, then you would be much more productive overall. I know in my own situation, I could be working on something and the air conditioning can cut on and blow a piece of paper like half an inch across the table, and that becomes incredibly fascinating to me because anything is better than what I'm doing in the moment. All right, another volunteer. All right, let's see.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We come up with. So how would you describe yourself? And, like, if there are the titles that people describe you, and what title would you use to describe yourself?
All right. Fellow Toastmasters, the question posed to me was how I would describe myself or how others would describe me. I think others would describe me as quiet but friendly, hardworking, and the way I would describe myself is a little bit complicated. So I think what's good and bad about our society and how we kind of classify people is we'll take people and be like, oh, you're a mechanic, or you're into soccer, so you're like the soccer guy, or you're the weightlifter guy. But in reality, it's like you can do everything. You know, you can have as many interests as you want. You can have like blue collar skills and white collar skills and combine them. And honestly, I think that being a human, that's part of it, is to learn and improve yourself constantly. You know, if you want to read, then read. If you want to go work out, then work out. If you want to learn how to speak, then join Toastmasters. You know, if you want to play soccer, then do that. And, you know, you can do plumbing. You can fix your car. Get a desk job. You can do all of it. So I think classifying myself is I would have a lot of varied interests, I guess. A lot of things fascinate me, and I'm constantly learning. And we joke about YouTube, but you can learn a lot on YouTube. Just don't get distracted. If you go on there to look for, say, how to fix a pipe or how to fix a brake pad, you know, change them out in your car, you have to be very careful because you'll end up going down a rabbit hole and going, you know, learning about black holes or something. So you just have to be careful of that. But YouTube is a great resource for that. In fact, I do a little technique where I'll hurry up and finish, but I'll actually like fast forward a little bit and do like 1.5 speed and just like cruise through them. So I'm just like devouring knowledge, you know. And that's kind of like my pastime. I don't watch TV at all, ever, because it's boring and just so slow, and then commercials, it goes on and on. It's not fun. At least I don't really care for it, but YouTube can learn all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of resources out there to learn. We only get to live one time, so between reading, life experience, YouTube, researching stuff, you know, we can acquire as many skills as we want. It never stops. So thank you.
Thank you for your answer. answer. I appreciate that. You're right. Oftentimes we do kind of put ourselves in these boxes. We say, well, this is my one hobby, so I must be like this or I must be like that. But in reality, we can, as you said, we can be really anything we want to be. We can be into whatever we want to be. I always think of the term like, I remember one time, I think I was watching Comedy Central and someone referred to James Franco as a Renaissance man. I'm like, he's not a Renaissance man, he just does a lot of stuff. And that's really what it is. We're not, Renaissance people, but we can do lots of things. And that term is kind of silly to me because we're all capable of that. Do we have time for one more question?
No, we're done. It's 7:23.
All right, we'll move on then. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler, for pulling some of the best questions from the prepared table topics prompts for tonight. It was good to hear that we were able, I'm pretty confident I heard the word of the day being applied at some point. I know it wasn't me though. All right, folks, we're going to transition into the third big portion of our meeting, which is the evaluation portion of our meeting. It is the big learning opportunity for both those who stepped up to the lecture today and for those in the audience. Our point person on this section of the meeting is our general evaluator, who is Olivia. Let's give her a warm round of applause as she guides us through this portion of the meeting.
Good evening, everyone. I am your general evaluator for the night. And before I do my evaluation, I would like to start by hearing the evaluation from our prepared speakers, or from those that were doing the evaluation of our prepared speeches. So our first evaluator is the prepared speech that was given by Karen, and her speech was effective communication, and her speech evaluator was Majid. Right?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So I got this opportunity to evaluate Aurinimo. It was really a wow speech. Everyone liked it. The excitement that she had in it, the vocal variety, all the strings that she grabbed. So I overall liked the way the speech was structured and laid down, and how expressive you are. So this, as you said, this speech is being captured and stored for us if we want to go check the vocal variety from wow to wow. So that I enjoyed it overall. Overall speech, the structure it was laid in. So just to point few stuff, as you mentioned, the parts of effective communication, reactionism, as you more described it as you want to see this word, and you kind of gave your own, said this is my word, kind of. So everyone everyone's interesting. What's that word? What's that reactionism? So I like that style of adding your specific individual approach on it. So we kind of have interest for everybody. You captured interest and everybody's attention. So that was very exciting way of doing it. I made a note for myself. I had any opportunity. So as I mentioned, the vocal variety was excellent. And moving forward, as you mentioned, like using more of your face, how you could express yourself. So it's a learning experience for us that you express. And also, I remember from your earlier speeches that you shared how to make a prepared speech with appetizer, main course, and the sweet item. So it's similarly you lay down the more enthusiastic way of preparing a speech. So it's always a good experience and learning from you. Moving forward, as you said, the voice, how you can engage more with your voice, making it louder and slower. I made one point here. I kind of lost you a little when you were a little slow. So probably it's a style of vocal variety. When you go slow, you might lose some kind of articulation of that word. So, but I followed you right after it when you had a louder voice. But I think it comes with a vocal variety. you want to choose a word which is easier, that even if you go slow, it's probably clear enough that everyone would get it. But when you had a higher bump of voice, I kind of brought the slower one too, because they go hand in hand in pair. So that was one, I said, that area that you could work on, vocal variety, but it was overall excellent. To challenge yourself, I couldn't think of anything that's mentioned here, but one thing is you can engage a little more by asking or mentioning individuals, saying, okay, Majid, if you want to, how about this? And Olivia, how have you thought about this? And then it's also another way of engaging, but you have everyone engaged, but that's asking a response or thoughts. What's your thought, Morris? And then you get special attention right there. So that's, I've seen many speakers use it, and it's very efficient. And as Morris had all the humor, you had a good experience, but like a part of humor, if you want to add here and there at the start or towards the end, that would also be an efficient way of, towards the end, maybe just spread the laugh while you go, saying a joke or something a little exciting. All right, that's all I had marked down here. Overall, we all loved it. I think specifically me, I enjoyed it so much, and it was a great opportunity listening it and evaluating it. I really appreciate your contribution with the previous speeches and this speeches, which is more towards not only delivering the speech, but also towards sharing the experience and learning curve for us. Mr. General Evaluator.
I really enjoyed the evaluation of Kerry's speech. Thank you for that, Najee. The next prepared speech evaluation we had was by David, and it was a Maurice's speech on gas and logos.
Hi. I think getting a caboodle of Toastmasters to laugh and be entertained is challenging, and Maurice did a great job of it. It was a good speech. The evaluation I have has some questions here to go through. What indicated to you that the audience was entertained? Well, for me, I saw that people were laughing and paying attention, so I think it was definitely entertaining. What made the speech humorous? Childhood gaffes are a great topic. I think talking about things that happened in our childhood that we can laugh about, that were embarrassing as an adult, is a funny thing. When we were a kid going through it, maybe not so much funny, but now it's a good topic. And how well did the jokes and stories fit the theme of the talk? Well, they fit them perfectly. I mean, they were all gaffes, and which is what the topic is. And those pause. Let's see. How well did the speaker deliver the jokes or stories? There was some good delivery. I think sometimes maybe have a little more timing with the jokes, some more pauses, and maybe give a weird look. Sometimes maybe give, but overall it was quite good. How comfortable and confident did the speaker appear to be while telling the jokes or stories? Maurice, to me, seemed very relaxed and prepared and professional, but funny at the same time. Let's see. How well did the speaker's body language and vocal variety add to the impact of the talk? Maurice always has great gestures in my observation, and this was no exception. He used his hands quite a bit in the storytelling, and he moved around some with his body language. Vocal variety, I feel like has been improved. There was some more high notes and low notes this time than some previous speeches, perhaps. What could the speaker have done differently to be more effective? As I mentioned before, maybe just a little bit more comedic timing, which is a very difficult thing. If anybody's ever tried to do stand-up comedy is not easy. I have a very dry sense of humor, and when I was working, I can make people laugh so hard that, and they said, you ought to be a stand-up comedian. But it's like, that's a whole different world. So coming up here and giving a comedic speech is very challenging. I think it takes a lot of courage to try that, and I think you really are doing well with it. And that comes down to the final question, what did the speaker do well? And I said gesturing and giving a relaxed appearance. Maurice didn't seem too rigid, or, you know, he had a relaxed appearance, which helped a lot. And I really, Gomer Pyle is on MeTV right now, if anybody ever watches MeTV. And the surprise, that really, I can picture you as a child doing that and then getting in trouble. So I mean, that was that, along with the other little mishaps and gaffes. I could really picture in my mind that happening. So I thought you did very well, and I appreciate you giving us a talk. Toastmaster, Mrs. Smith. General evaluator.
Thank you so much for that, David. That was a great evaluation of Maurice's speech. I will now have our reports from the rest of our officers tonight. So we have Ben that's going to give us our timer.
Certainly. So for the timer report, Gary, you were at 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Maurice, you're at 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Diego, you're at 2 minutes 11 seconds. Cheyenne, 1 minute 39 seconds. Myself, 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Majid, 4 minutes 35 seconds. And then David, 3 minutes 32 seconds.
Very good. That was a quick caboodle, but it was well said. Good evaluation there of our timeless report. We're going to move on to our archive and grammarian, and that's done by Ms. Cheyenne.
All right, so I'll start with the grammarian report. I'll start with the word of the day usage. Kyler, Carrie, Diego, Maurice. David used it, and Olivia at the last minute, so good job. Let's see, and then for the other part of the grammarian, I only caught one. Diego, it was during your table topic, you said an immature response to do. So maybe either just an immature response or an immature way to respond. The to do kind of threw that off. So that is the only thing I caught. For the all counter, let's see. For the prepared speeches, I did not catch any. Kyler, when you were presenting the table topics, you had a couple of you-knows, I think, and Mark. But you did way better than usual, so congratulations. I had a so. Then you had 3 us and 2 you-knows. During the evaluations, Majid, you had 2 us and 1 David, I only caught 1 and that's all I have. So we did good tonight.
Thank you
Good job.
very much, Ms. Cheyenne, for the report. And I'm going to finish up with my general evaluation. And Kyler, I agree with Cheyenne. When you were describing your role as table topics master, you did not use one or the phrase you know. It's a popular phrase for you. And I was like, oh my goodness, it seems like we had been, I don't know, Cheyenne was threatening you or something. Did you, okay, yeah, did you, wait, because it seems so effortless, so I don't know if you've been.
I think I lucked out that time.
Okay, because I was like, wait a minute, not one misuse or one filler word, shall I say. So I was impressed with you.
Thank you.
It seems so effortless. So that means that you can do it. We all can do it.
Yeah.
You've worked a lot of effort. Carrie, as always, a great speech. Just like Majid said, when you would come up with your own word and then you use the 3 techniques. I'm glad I wasn't in charge of doing your evaluation because I don't think I could have found anything wrong. But when you mentioned, so you were looking really hard.
Yeah,
Are you listening?
hard.
Very hard, yes, because when you did go and start talking real slow, I missed
what you were saying, but when you came right back, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it, okay. So, yeah, but you had to dig hard for that. I'm glad I wasn't in charge of evaluation. I kept thinking that, I'm like, is there a teleprompter somewhere on the floor? How was she? I mean, it was authentic, but it seemed like you should have been reading something. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Maurice, you really have me laughing. Usually when something is really funny to me, it's hard to hide the tears and start rolling. And I was like, okay, don't you start doing that. Don't forget the camera's rolling. So anyway, that was real fun. I could imagine you saying, where did he run? I ran. Oh my goodness, Maurice. I could imagine you being the class clown. So never would have thought that before, but now I see it. I can see it in you. So terrible you. But that was funny. Diego, back to when you were talking about your body language and how your body speaks and your face and the expressions and all that. When you came up, I've never seen you do this before, but when you were talking about, what was the question? When did you ever lose your temper and how did you react? You folded your arms. Your arms were folded. The whole time you responded. I was like, wow, I've never really seen you have such a tense or such a response that was so closed. So that just tells us how, I don't know if that was a part of, what I wrote here was your body language looked stressed. I'm not sure if you were getting into the role of feeling the losing of your temper or if it was just your response. Do you implode versus explode, because it looked like you were real tense when you were giving it, and I've never seen you do that before. Not that it was a good or a bad thing, I'm just saying how, if we allow our body language to speak, how loudly you spoke when your arms were closed, but I've never seen you do that. So that's just something to be, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I don't think it was. I think it was instinctual because I don't like when I think about mistakes that I made. I don't like thinking about it. So
Right. Yeah.
So I close up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was all over you, and I was like, wow, this is not, one of your best topics of discussion, and it was just all over your body. What Carrie was saying. So, but beyond that, I think everyone did a great job. I was excited to, as always, to be here tonight. And I just love this word of the day, caboodle, because we always use that. I don't know how I use it, the whole getting caboodle is
Yeah,
what
I've heard that before.
yeah. And it's so odd because I was thinking that next time I do my next speech, it's going to be about phrases or old sayings that we don't really think about. Like one of my favorites, or one that I know, is never look a gift horse in the mouth. And a lot of people don't really know what that means, never look a gift horse in the mouth. So I suggest that if you don't know what that means, look it up, because recently I had to look a gift horse in the mouth, and it was a very uncomfortable feeling. So if you don't know what that means, look up that phrase, never look a gift horse in the mouth. And that's it. That concludes my caboodle of evaluation of tonight's meeting. We did start a minute late. We asked for a 5-minute recess. Things like that happen. I would just suggest for myself first, I point the finger at me first, and then all the rest of us, we have really got to do better about going on the easy speak and accepting those roles. Please, guys, because especially before you all came along, we had our officers meeting, and one of the things that we're really interested in doing is getting more members into this club and getting them a part of what we so believe in. But for guests to come in and see us to be this disorganized, or it doesn't say much for us as a club. So luckily we didn't have any guests here tonight. But again, I'll point the finger at myself first. But please, guys, let's show how much we are interested in this, because we're doing this because we want to better ourselves. So let's not forget why we joined Toastmasters. It's not free. We did pay for this. So let's make the best of it, the most of it, and please get on easy speak and accept those roles. And that's it. I'm going to turn this back over after I'm done my caboodle.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Easy speak. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Say it with me. Easy speak.
Easy speak.
Easy speak is the best.
That's right.
I can think for myself.
That's right.
Okay, good job. Y'all are pretty sharp tools. Good. Can I get an amen? Yes, yes, Olivia. Easy speak. It is a tool for all of us to use. That helps with the agendas. We can really make our meetings go swiftly. We're not flubbing at the last minute, and we don't look like a small panic attack right leading up to the moments of our meeting. So Easy Speak is a tool. We can use it. It is there for us. It is free. $0. $0. Do I hear $0? $0,
Going
guys.
once, going once.
All right. We do not have an education overview tonight, but we do have some important awards to give out to some very special members. And as the Toastmaster, it is not my responsibility, but I will give the honor to our Vice President of Education, Maurice. Let's please give him a round of applause. And the award for our meeting.
Tonight, I am honored and privileged to give out another speech award, and this is level 1 completion in the path of dynamic leadership. And this award for level 1 goes to David Roberts.
You're not smiling, David. You're not smiling. There we go. Take these.
Good, okay, I'll be out.
All right. Thank you, Olivia.
And I'd like to relinquish the turn back to the president.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for our members, and a special big thank you to David for completing an important Pathways moment. And again, a big thank you to Majid and other members on our team tonight who are going out of their comfort zone and trying some of these new roles. Let me check, let me make sure we're early. Oh, we're just on time. Okay. Again, this is a great opportunity to echo again, use Easy Speak to sign up for important roles for next week. We do have 2 prepared speeches in mind, so we will be in need of at least 2 evaluators. I will also be reaching out to a few of you members in order to encourage you to try being Toastmaster, because that is another important moment of growth and development for any Toastmaster in our team. With that said, thank you all so much, and we will see you next week.